Welcome to the Girl Camper Podcast. I'm your host, Lesa McDermott, and in this episode, we are diving into the world of RV power systems, specifically lithium batteries. And we are welcoming back our special guest to help us navigate it, Eva Mitic from Go Power Solar. She is going to share her expert insights on all things lithium batteries and how they are great for your RV. So whether you're new to RVing or you're looking to upgrade your current power setup, Eva's going to be here to break down the benefits of switching to a lithium, how they stack up against traditional lead acid batteries, and how they can take your off-grid adventures to the next level. So if you're ready to boost your RV power game, stay tuned. Welcome, Grow Campers. I am excited to have on today's show my friend and partner kind of at Grow Camper, Eva Mitic, who is the marketing manager of Go Power, who is a division of Dometic. Did I say that
You
right,
did,
Eva?
yes.
And this is our follow-up podcast episode on lithium batteries. We did a previous one, which I hope you all listened or watched, on solar, which was really great information. But today we're going to talk about lithium batteries. And I'm a huge fan. And Eva's going to answer a whole bunch of questions about them. But first, we're going to take a quick break for today's sponsor of our Grow Camper podcast.
If your travel trailer is uninsured, you could run into issues down the road. Protect your RV with Progressive. Quote online in as little as 4 minutes.
Great, thanks. We are back. So, Eva, let's dive in. Can you explain the main differences between a lead acid battery and there's AGM batteries, is that right? And then lithium batteries. Can you explain the difference between them, like in the terms of performance and then also efficiency, I guess, in RVs?
Yeah, 100%. The lead acid batteries that we all know, and I don't know if I could say love, but the old tried, tested, and true technology where you have to add the distilled water, it's basically just been a workhorse since like the 1800s. It's the cheapest version of batteries out there. It's heavy and it requires a lot of maintenance. The AGM battery is kind of like it's just a bit of a step up. It's still heavy, but it's sealed and requires no maintenance. And it lasts a little bit longer than the lead acid one. And then taking a big jump in technology by leaps and bounds, lithium batteries came into the game about a couple of years ago. And those guys are not only lighter, more efficient, but they last longer than the other two batteries, probably combined, honestly. Lithium has completely changed the game in the amount of power that's available for an RV. To give you a bit of a perspective on it, the one single lithium battery usually replaces 4 of the other traditional batteries. Yeah.
Wow. Now, you mean over like lifespan of
Nope.
not having
Just at once.
to buy a
Nope. Just at once. A single lithium battery, you're able to take it down or take it from 100%, bring it all down to 0. Whereas your other batteries, you have, say, 200 amp hours of AGM batteries, which means that you only have 50 amp hours of usable energy. So you really can't take that beast down past 50%. So you're immediately replacing those 2 batteries with a single lithium battery. Now, over the lifespan, you're going to be replacing those 2 lithium batteries probably twice, and the lithium battery is still going to be holding strong 10 years down the road.
That's fantastic. Now, what kind of battery is in my car? Is that an AGM?
That's a lead acid. Yeah. So that's the one that we don't want to get you don't want to get any part of that battery on you because it will definitely burn.
Just wanted to make sure that we were talking the same thing.
So they're not actually the same thing. The deep cycle battery that you have in your RV is ever so slightly different from the one in your car. The one in your car has to have something called cold cranking amps, which means that you are able to take a lot of power out of it at the beginning. And then to get that power back into it, the alternator charges. I'm not a mechanic, so I can't really get too far into that, but it's ever so slightly different.
Gotcha. So yeah, I can't take my car battery out and stick it in my
I wouldn't
camper.
recommend it, no.
So you mentioned a few of the benefits already of lithium batteries. Let's kind of break those down in terms of weight. I can speak to that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Well, but all right, they feel like a fraction of what a normal lead acid or AGM battery would
Yeah.
weigh.
So they're between 50 and 60% lighter. So I would safely say half the weight of a regular battery. Excuse me. We have a lithium battery that weighs 18 pounds, which is crazy. I've been able to pick it up with my pinkies. The technology and the power available in that, small footprint is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And now lifespan of a battery, a lithium battery, they tend to last several more years than a typical lead acid.
Yeah, that's correct. So battery life is usually measured in cycles, which means that the power has been taken from 100% down to its most usable level. With lead acid and AGM, that level's about 50%. If you go below that, you're damaging the battery's chemistry essentially. But with lithiums, you can do that 3,000 times, which usually equates to about on average about 12 years for the average girl camper, for how long that they are actually spending on the road. Yeah, you're looking at an average lifespan of on the low end 12 years.
And what's like the charging speed then compared to a lead acid? So I've got my unit. We're not talking solar here. I'm just plugged into, we'll take my camper, for example, a 30 amp, little teardrop, and I plugged it in. And is my my 100 amp hour lithium battery going to charge a lot faster than its compatible lead acid
Yes,
battery would?
yes, it will. In terms of charging speed, there's a couple variables in there that I can't really speak to, but yeah, it's going to charge up to 3% or three times faster than a lead acid battery.
Lithium batteries do tend to cost a little bit more, or sometimes a
Yeah,
lot more. It just depends. But they do cost more than lead acid batteries. But the long term savings is definitely there because, like you said, these batteries can last 12 years versus a lead acid may only last 1 year or 2
yeah.
year. It
Yeah,
seems
and so
so.
the cost of the lithium battery is usually the biggest part of people's apprehension of really even looking at the technology. But as I had mentioned in the previous podcast, looking at something that's a quality investment, you're going to buy once, you're going to cry once. It's something that you're not going to have to worry about for, probably as long as you own your RV. It's something that's going to allow you to have double, triple, even quadruple the amount of available power from the existing battery that you have. I mean, especially if you're just still running off of the lead acid battery that your RV dealer had installed at the dealership level. If you start looking at a lithium battery upgrade, you're going to be, it's going to be a night and day difference.
Let's talk about maintenance on them. I know that was something that really attracted me to lithium batteries was that the maintenance on them greatly differs from lead acid. I no longer have to undo my battery every winter and try to find a kind of a warm place in my garage or house or basement or somewhere and put a trickle charger on it. Um, so can you talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
in terms of maintenance, I mean, what maintenance? They're entirely sealed. You don't have to worry about them too much. If you're looking at, storing them, then I would recommend storing them fully charged. And then, just like any other battery, it slightly depletes as the amount of time that you have it set in storage. But for general maintenance from season to season, really you just check the connections, make sure everything's fully tightened down. If you are going to be storing your RV outside during the winter, um, yeah, as long as your battery box is, slightly insulated, you won't really have to worry about it. Lithium batteries typically don't like cold temperatures. There are batteries
Mm.
out there with built-in heaters, but if you're not trying to charge the battery over the winter, no issue.
And that brings me to my next question. How do lithium batteries handle extreme temperatures, especially during like a harsh winter or a really hot summer when you're
That's
out
a great
camping?
question.
Because there are situations
Yeah,
there, yeah.
100%. So one of the big benefits of lithium batteries is the safety features that are now built into them. I don't think I've ever, well, I'm sure they are out there, but lithium batteries usually have a built-in battery management system. And that battery management system basically just makes sure that the cells inside the battery don't get damaged by, it being too hot outside or it being too cold outside. So that battery is going to be smart enough to turn itself off. If it's in any sort of danger. So yeah, they might not like it. You might have to, take a few extra steps when you get back to your RV. But in terms of safety itself, lithium iron phosphate batteries are, a lot safer than the lithium ion counterparts that came out, 10 years ago.
So that shut-off feature that you just mentioned, is that something that a consumer should be double checking when they're shopping for a lithium battery?
Absolutely.
Like say they see a really good deal on one that they think, like, oh, I can get one, yeah, on Amazon or wherever, for a dirt cheap price. But would that battery may not have that?
That's exactly right.
Is that
Yeah, and
something?
that's one of the benefits of looking for a quality battery manufacturer kind of at the outset. Not having that battery management system essentially means that you're missing a lot of the key components that make that battery as safe as it is. You can buy external BMS systems, which is definitely doable, but you're just adding cost to something that you perceive to be a good investment at the beginning. So, again, if you're looking for something for a lithium upgrade, try to find a manufacturer that has a background in quality, that has, all of the safety features kind of built into the battery that you're looking at.
And I think longevity.
Yeah, of course.
How long was that battery manufacturer been
Yep.
around?
Percent.
Go Power has been around for a long time. How long has you guys been
1996.
around?
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. So important. The other thing too that I thought was important, at least for me on my lithium battery, is that, which is a Go Power, that it came with a heating system on it because I do camp all year round. I live in the Black Hills of South Dakota, where it can get below
Mhm.
32 degrees. And it's my understanding on lithium, once they kind of get below 32, they they won't
Correct.
charge. Is that
Yep, that's
right?
exactly right. Yep.
Right. So mine came with like this little built-in heating packet on it that will help defer that. Is that kind of
A
correct?
little bit, yeah. So the battery that you have has internal heating like elements that go around the cell. So it's not necessarily a pack that's outside of it. It's actually built into the battery. Yeah. So the battery itself warms itself as soon as it hits a certain level of cold. I don't remember. I think you're right when it is 32 degrees. Somewhere that some temperature I don't feel like I need to be outside at that point at any point. But yeah, it'll automatically turn on. Yeah, I can't deal with it. But no, the battery will automatically turn on the heater that's built into the case, and it actually runs off the power in the battery itself. So you don't have to have any external wiring running or anything like that. It'll already have everything in the battery box.
Yeah, I think that's a really important feature if you're going to be, like I said, someone like me who likes to camp all year round in all kinds of conditions. That just extends what I can do, and I don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it.
100%. And what another benefit of that battery that you have is the Bluetooth aspect of it. Having the
Yeah,
connectivity component is super important. You can't really check your battery's, state of charge or whatever from your couch, but you can go jump out into your mudroom and be close enough that you can connect your phone to the Bluetooth and make sure that everything's running okay.
I love my whole battery solar system that you guys did send me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Because I kind of get off on seeing how many more days left supposedly that are have. And I have a massive battery system. I have the 300 amp
Mhm.
hour battery, I believe, that's fairly new. And then I think you guys sent me like 400 watt flexible solar panels for my little teardrop. So I'm probably way overpowered, but I
Oh,
don't
you
care
absolutely are.
because I like
Yep.
to boondocking, and it's never been an issue. So I love seeing that. Oh, look, I still have 5 more days of power. And that's just as of right now. That's not taking into consideration that it's going to keep
Yep.
charging.
No, exactly. And those batteries, like you said, the 300 amp hour are just total workhorses. We engineer everything, 8 feet away from where I'm sitting right now. And the battery the the style of battery that you have actually ran our server room through multiple power outages at our office building. So it was, yeah, we've put them through its paces. When they were actually testing the battery, that was, I was smelling like electrical fire, and I was like, "Oh, what are we doing to those batteries?" And the battery is totally fine. It's the wire that was attached to it that started like the plastic was melting off. There's so much current going through it. The battery is like, "Give me more."
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
workhorse. Um, how do lithium batteries handle any of the high energy demands that might come from appliances and electronics that are commonly used in RVs? Is that something that people need to be, kind of concerned about or thinking about? Is there any
There
difference?
is a bit of a difference, and I honestly believe that lithium is the only way that you're going to be able to run any of the appliances that you're really hoping to run. Air conditioners, you can run them from an AGM battery, but you will need a generator. 100%. You will
Mm,
have to. But if you're looking to say cool down your RV half an hour before bed, kind of thing, you can get away with a couple, 200 amp hours of a lithium battery and a couple solar panels, and that'll be able to accommodate that as well as be able to keep the lights on overnight.
I want to get back to something that you kind of touched on earlier in this podcast. You're talking about like the amp
Yes,
hours on the battery, and this took me a little bit to be able to wrap my head around. But we'll go with the standard like 100 amp hour battery. So I want to run my whatever uh light. We'll just say, and without doing the math or anything, this is just kind of theoretical. That's going to run for 100 hours off of that battery. Now,
if
again,
the
I'm not
light
taking into
draws 1
consideration.
amp, then yes,
Yeah,
then it'll
exactly.
last for
Yeah,
100 hours nonstop consecutively off that battery if it's a 1 amp draw on that light. Yep, you're right.
right. But if that was a lead acid battery, even though it says it's 100 amp hours, it's really only
Correct. Yep.
50. Yeah. And I don't think I know it took me a long time to kind of understand that. Like, well, why would they say it's 100 amp hours if it really only does 50? But that's just the nature of the beast with lead acid batteries. But that was a huge draw for me to switch over to lithium, is to get that extra time of
Yeah.
energy.
The
So
available power in a lithium battery with the same kind of footprint that a regular lead acid battery would have is, like I said, you're essentially immediately doubling the available power that you have if you replace a single 100 amp hour lead acid battery with a single 100 amp hour lithium battery. You're doubling the available power that you have. So if you're only kind of off grid for 2 or 3 days and you get home and you realize that your battery is dead, you could probably stretch that to 5 or 6 days with a lithium battery if you've got a solar panel on the roof as well. So yeah, it's definitely a very interesting upgrade.
yeah, very cool. What are some things that RV owners should know about the installation process when they're switching from a lead acid to a lithium battery?
That's a great question and one that I get all the time. One of the biggest components for older RVs specifically will be the battery charger. Lithium batteries have specific charging parameters that will not necessarily be available on older models. I would probably say anything made before 2019 likely will not have a lithium battery, lithium compatible charger in it. So that would be something that I would have to recommend getting checked out. But typically, the newer RVs that are manufactured these days, everything is lithium compatible. So it should just be a drop in replacement for an older lead acid or an AGM battery.
So for those units that are like before 2019, can they not switch to lithium, or do they just need to add a different charge controller on it in their
They
system?
definitely can. They would need to upgrade that battery charger as well at the same time when they're installing the lithium battery. So it's not saying it can't be done, but there's just a couple extra steps.
Okay, very cool. I think the other point too to make on lithium batteries is that they don't need to be on the exterior of your RV either, like a lead acid, it's because lead acid emits kind of a poisonous gas, if I understand
They need
right,
to be vented,
or
so
some
they
kind of
have to have at least some consistent airflow. I don't exactly know what type of gas is emitted from it, but it's not something that you wanna have in your RV where you're trying to sleep. But yeah, but you're very
right.
right. The lithium batteries can go underneath the banquette and the dining, underneath your dining banquette. They can go underneath your bed. Personally, I know my brother-in-law has one installed underneath his bed in a little bowler that he has. And when he's traveling, he doesn't have to worry about being super hot at night because the heat kind of comes up when he's going through the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, mine is right under my bed too. I moved it from the exterior to the inside so that now that whole little storage area out on the tongue of my little teardrop, it can actually be all storage. It's not being taken up by the battery and the propane tank. So that's a nice feature of lithium for
Absolutely, and it's a
sure.
lot safer actually too. A lot of the kind of tongue-mounted battery boxes that you see, if they're not properly secured, people can go in and, take whatever they want if they wanted to, but having your battery kind of moved inside is definitely a bit of a safer move.
Good point. Okay, we're going to take another quick break here to thank our next show sponsor, and we'll be right back with more questions for Eva about lithium batteries. Curt Echo Mobile Brake Controller is a world-first mobile Bluetooth brake controller that can give you an entirely new towing experience. It's easily plug and play into your RV wiring harness with no tools required. It connects wirelessly and syncs with your smartphone to control and monitor all trailer brake activities. Its compact, portable design allows for easy transfer from one vehicle to another and convenient storage when it's not in use. Check it out in the complete family of Echo units to find the best fit for your towing setup. Hey, when we're back, thank you so much to our two show sponsors today. We couldn't be doing the Girl Camper podcast without you, and we appreciate all the support that you give Girl Camper. And I'm loving this conversation that I'm having with Eva Mitic today from Go Power Solar, all about lithium batteries. So this next question, Eva, actually comes from a girl camper, and it has to do with compatibility issues when switching from lithium batteries in an RV that still has a system optimized for lead acid. We were just talking about that and how older units can be switched. They may need a few more bells and whistles to get it done, but anything after 2019, it shouldn't be a big issue. I know on mine, all I had to do was basically on, I don't know if it's called the charge controller, but the panel that was in my camper just, it was a hit of a button to switch from lead acid to lithium, which was super simple. But this is her question. She says, I have been told different things by different experts. If I switch my AGM batteries for lithium, do I need a different converter? The reps from this other company say that my original converter is fine, but others say I will need to switch it out for a multi-stage converter.
Great question, and again, it goes back to what I mentioned before about whether or not her unit was an older one. If it was made before 2019, I would really recommend upgrading that converter. And a converter is battery charger. So those two terms are interchangeable. If we're talking about a battery charger, it's a converter, and that's what she's talking about here. Now, I would probably recommend taking a look at the label on top of the battery charger, on top of the converter, and contact the manufacturer to double check what compatibility that converter is rated for. Most converters, again, created before 2019 will only be 3-stage, whereas a lithium compatible one will be a 4-stage converter.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm
Very
sorry
cool.
I can't answer the question right away, but there's some variables that I don't know that I would definitely recommend confirming.
Yeah, and I think she's on the right track because she said she did contact the company that makes her existing converter, and they said that it should be
Perfect.
fine. So, yeah, so I think you gave a good follow-up on that one, you know. So what is the thing called that's on the that I see in the inside of my
That would be
camper that
that's
tells
the
me how
solar
many
charge
days-
controller. So there's two different, and that's the one that helps the battery health components where the solar doesn't overcharge the battery. So that's basically, like I said, mentioned in the other podcast, the solar charge controller is like the fuel shutoff valve, and it prevents your battery from being overcharged.
So our next question also comes from another girl camper, and she wants to know, will updating to 2 lithium batteries be useless with only a 110-watt solar panel? That's a
That
great
is a great question. My follow-up question would be, how does she camp? Does she want to be able to stay off grid for a long time? In which case I would definitely recommend adding more solar to it. But basically what she's just done is, increase the size of her metaphorical gas tank for her power system in her RV. So if she wants more fuel to go into that gas tank, if she wants to stay out longer, then add more solar. I don't think it's accurate to say that the 110-watt flexible panel that she has right now would be obsolete. It would still do something, but I don't know if it would keep up with the draws coming out of those batteries if she wants to watch, the kids want to watch TV for 6 hours a day, or if they, leave the freezer open or whatever else, which which we've all seen on the road. But it really depends on what she intends to do with it.
Are there any common misconceptions that RV owners have about lithium batteries that we could address, in today's
Yeah.
conversation?
The first one is that no, you're not driving around with a bomb in the back, in the back of your RV. It's not. The technology has improved. The safety on the technology has improved by leaps and bounds over the last 10 years since lithium really started coming out. And that's definitely one of the biggest things is, oh yeah, it's going to explode as it's rolling down the road. Well, I mean, if you're mistreating it, maybe it will, but it's not, a lot of the lithium batteries that are sold into the industry are engineered and tested for life on the road. So it's not like it's just gonna, pop off one day and burn down your whole RV. Very rare instances, again, for mistreated batteries, things that may have been punctured, those types of things could lead to issues down the road. But day to day, you're safe.
Well, I think, yeah, that's a huge misconception on lithium batteries, especially the more we hear about electric
Yes.
cars and, oh, they just spontaneously combusted.
No.
But we don't hear, I think the statistics on that are probably very, very minor in the grand scheme of how many are out there. And also, like you said, what's the backstory? Why did that happen? Were they dirt cheap batteries made by Joe Blow in the back of his garage, which I doubt lithium batteries can be made that way, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know,
No, for sure.
that
Yeah,
there's
the context around a lot of those stories seems to be missing, and that's one of the things that, we come up with a lot is people asking, how safe are the batteries that, that we're manufacturing, and I think that that is, one of the biggest, pain points, for people that are looking into, transitioning into lithium as well.
yeah. It's a concern, or a misconception too, I think on reputable e-bikes. We partner with Buzz Bikes, and I know that was in part of their
Mhm.
podcast too, is that make sure you get something from a reputable company that's been around and not just something China
Well, that's
made.
exactly it, yeah,
And
having something that's properly engineered for the application that you wanna use it in, um, is definitely vitally important for safety and longevity of the system that you're looking to install.
so another question we get on lithium batteries is, can they be easily recycled and disposed of? Are there any environmental considerations? And I think this all kind of ties into as compared to lead acid batteries.
Very great question. They definitely can be recycled, though not easily. There are specialized recycling centers that are cropping up all over the continent or all over the world to be able to recycle the lithium and the components within the battery themselves. Um, from a sustainability standpoint, a single lithium battery offsets the waste of between 2 and 3 of the other traditional batteries for lead acid or AGMs. Um, Largely due to their longevity. So if you're looking at, spending, very little money to be able to upgrade, think about the environmental impact of having to replace and recycle that battery in, 1 or 2 years when it starts failing versus spending maybe a little bit more money if you are interested in the lithium technology to be able to offset that sustainability to offset that battery from a sustainability standpoint. There we go.
And I can't think of any drawbacks or limitations that lithium have, except for we kind of talked about the temperatures, the if it gets too cold or too hot type thing. But are there kind of any other limitations that lithium may have that RV owners should be aware of, and is there ways to mitigate
Yeah,
them?
so there's a couple different things that have come up over the last couple of years with our engineering team, and that's not necessarily incompatibility, but not being able, like the lithium battery might not be reacting to specific other mobile power components the way it should. A lot of these happen
Hmm.
when people start piecemealing um, Amazon items or things that they might find in their dad's garage together. So yeah, sometimes the system doesn't exactly like the new technology that the lithium battery offers. But other than really the cost being a high barrier to entry for the batteries, there hasn't been a whole ton of drawbacks that I've seen. for, upgrading from a traditional battery to a or to a lithium battery. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know that's my feeling too. The benefits, like they just completely overshadowed any uh, drawbacks. I really didn't see any
Yeah.
drawbacks to having lithium batteries in my campers, and I love the extra time power factor that they give, the lightweightness. I mean, going from a 50, 75 pound lead acid battery down to, my 300 amp is a little bit larger than the 19 pounds, but I can still lift it pretty
Yeah, I
easily.
think 65 pounds, I think, but one of those battery, like the 300 amp hour battery that you have, replaced 6 of the other batteries that you would have had in your teardrops. So it's like, it's a night and day difference.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, what advice would you give to anyone who is on the fence about making the switch from a lead acid battery to lithium?
That's a great question. And I think one of the first steps that I would recommend people take would be to really understand the power that they're using. Um, if you don't have one already, pick up a battery monitor kit to really understand how much you're drawing, how much you're charging, and all of that sort of stuff, and be able to really understand how much power you're actually going through. And then kind of evaluating how you want to camp. Are you looking to, like, if are you only able to do 2 or 3 days on the road right now, but want to start going out for a week? Do you want to start maybe using your coffee maker more? Things like that. Things that have more power draws that a traditional lead acid battery might not be able to accommodate when paired with an inverter. Those types of things I think would be first and foremost for me to recommend people take a look at.
And we kind of touched on this in our solar episode, but when people are considering lithium batteries, I think there's a lot of other considerations besides cost that they need to factor in. And one of those, can be the warranties that are on them, customer support, the longevity of the company that's made them. I think you want to make sure you've got somebody that's been around and offers, like I said, great customer support. And like you've said it before, you're going to get what you
Yeah,
pay
no,
for.
exactly. One of the other things that I would recommend is look for a company that sells everything you would need to go off grid. Having a single place to go to, if you do have issues on the road, you can just call one company instead of having to call somebody for your solar controller, call somebody for your battery, call somebody for your power inverter. Like that's a lot of phone calls when you want to get out into the bush, or on the road to where your next destination is.
That's a great point. And the nice thing with Go Power is that you guys do sell all of that. And I can speak to your customer support because I've had questions, when we were first talking about um, what size battery, what size of panels, what would work for my system. Your support was wonderful. They didn't make me feel stupid at all. They made when they asked me questions, I was able to understand and how to look for things. And then there's some great features on your Go Power Solar website to help people determine if they're looking for a solar package, to determine what their needs are. And the other thing too is that everything works together. You're not trying to, yeah, jerry rig something to make it work. It all went together very smoothly, and I just love
I'm
my
glad to hear
system.
that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of our biggest goals is actually our main goal is to make mobile power as easy as possible. And personally, I've been doing this for 8 years, and there's other people in the company that have been doing this for 25. That really understand how things should go together and how things should work. And that's one of the benefits I think of us working so closely with our customers and answering questions like this is getting all that stuff together.
Oh, it's been fun. Thank you for coming on again today. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to doing some live sessions with you in
Absolutely.
2025, where we can have some live questions coming from girl campers on solar and lithium and anything else
Look forward to it.
that they may want to talk
Awesome.
about.
Thank you so much.
Hey, that's our show for today. And I want to thank Eva Mitic from Go Power Solar from coming on today and talking to us about all things solar. I know I learned a lot, and I really appreciate her taking the time to come on and talk to us about different aspects of having a solar system. Thanks for watching or listening if you're podcasting. And if you did enjoy today's show, don't forget to tap that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any episodes. Connect with Girl Camper online through our website, Facebook, Instagram. Be sure to check out all of the events that Girl Camper Guides have lined up for us and come join us into the fun. Also, think about signing up for our Girl Camper magazine. Until next time, I'm Lesa McDermott, and I will catch you by the campfire.